The problem is, Chris, you can't put no sex and gays in one sentence.
That's what people say. An expectation that you probably will fancy each other, and there's some sort of like rejection as part of it, or that you're going to hook up. So the whole point of the project is that gay guys can meet each other and then just start talking to each other as human beings.
And the award goes to, for not having sex for 2 hours, all of the gays.
People are trying to create spaces where people can connect easier. It's actually very hard for anyone. It's not just specific to gay world. I find it difficult to connect with other gay guys, I think like a healthy way.
If it's a Grindr hookup, which first starts with sex and then you maybe ask the person's name.
When straight guys meet, they don't have this at all, right? They just have things in common, maybe or not. And the question of sex doesn't really arise, probably, unless they've got the secret.
Yeah.
Gay guys have stuff in common, and yet sex can be, and often is, like the first thing. There's always some element of rejection going on, and a dance where you have to sort of make it clear that I fancy you or not. It feels really easy to have sex with a randomer that feels safe, and yet saying hello to someone, how are you, feels very dangerous somehow. The thing about Grindr is that the main criterion by which you're showing people is already how close they are. Is that the criterion by which you would choose a boyfriend or a friend? Literally how close they are. Don't let your sexual taste be the door by which you let people into your life. And, you know, when I look at some of my gay friends in London, a good proportion of them were people I hooked up with and then became friends with. I don't have to, no one wants to see that.
I would like to see those pictures, Chris.
All right, guys, just want to get a room.
Hi, I'm Azamat.
And I'm Oliver, and we're the founders of Friend of Dorothy.
In today's episode, we're very excited to have Chris, digital content creator and the founder of No Sex Gay Weekend. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm really well, and thanks for getting the name right as well, because lots of people call it No Gay Sex Weekend, which is like a straight orgy, which I'll probably start at some point for the other market, you know.
So actually, we literally just had coffee beforehand, and every single time I mentioned it, I said, no gay, I did it that way. I don't know why, it's a real tongue twister.
There's a market for it, I think.
I think the problem is, Chris, you can't put no sex and gays in one sentence.
That's what people say. That's what they say. That's what the project's all about.
So tell us a bit more about the concept.
In the end, it's quite simple, and the title's like pretty brusque, just to like, because it is what it is. But the point is that gay guys can just meet without the pressure. So I think often, in my experience as well, there's like an expectation that you probably will fancy each other, and there's some sort of like rejection as part of it, maybe, or that you're going to hook up. So the whole point of the project is that gay guys can meet each other and then just start like probably just talking to each other as human beings, and then like going from there. And it all started because I went to a gay resort in Torremolinos. I quite liked it the first time because I had a holiday romance and it was super cute and I made holiday friends. And then I went again, and then it was all like cruising and, Grindr and stuff. And I just thought, this isn't making me happy, mostly because I was missing my holiday romance, but also because like, it just felt quite difficult to just talk to people without the context and pretext of sex, basically. So that's why I had the idea. And then I put it out on Instagram as like a concept, I guess. And then 1,000 people responded, and 92% of people thought it was a good idea who responded to the poll. So then I thought I'd just start it and see.
How does it all work?
I started doing it in July in 2025, and like they're meant to be weekends. So they run from like Friday to Sunday. We've had one in Valencia, one in Sevilla, one in Bath, and one in Oxford. And they work really well. We just all come to a city basically, and then have fun, have activities and stuff like that. But then I started doing events because basically that's quite a lot of work to organize. And also you have to pay for that. So events. We've had them in Madrid and London. And, you know, I was thinking about doing something longer, but then it's really stretching it out past a weekend. And I think I'm already pushing it with the concept Friday to Sunday. So it's like some events are like a couple of hours and we don't have sex for a couple of hours. And then sometimes people meet to have a weekend and they don't have sex
And
for a
that's okay.
And the award goes to for not having sex for 2 hours. All of the gays.
You
I
know,
know, but we have to ease people into the idea.
yeah.
It's just like a really fun weekend, basically, that you would have with mates, basically. So like in Bath, we met, went to a piano bar on the Friday evening, people who arrived on like early, I guess. And then we had coffees on the Saturday, had a tour of Bath. I spoke about columns at length because I'm like so interesting. And we went to Boom Battle Bar. We had dinner. And then we had a roast on Sunday and went to the Roman baths and stuff like that. So the whole thing is just a pretext to get to know each other anyway. And I think about 15 people came to Bath. And what's so great is that like mid-Saturday, they just started like, having a great time within themselves and making friends.
What was the feedback that you got from people who joined? And what's the challenge that they came with? And any particular type of people who you observe are joining your events?
Yeah. Well, I think the reason why I like the name is because it becomes really self-selecting as a group. And like, I found the vibe really warm, friendly, people get on, funny, people engage with the project. And it's just really, honestly, it's a very simple project. You just come and you're gay and you just chat to each other and you're not talking about how hung people are or trying to flirt with people or trying to hook up with people. So the people who come basically come because they want to do it. And the feedback has been mostly really great. And people have come again. People have come on like 3 weekends. People have come to events. We've got a weekend in Bristol coming up in March, as well as like a stay in a manor house that we're doing. And that's going to be a long weekend. Okay, that's 4 days. That's Friday to Monday.
I was looking at the manor house one. It looks really good. I'm away that weekend because I literally thought, and that's how I came across it. I was like, oh, I would love to do that.
To me, it just sounds like, all these OnlyFans creators come to the villa for 4 days to shoot all of the content for half a year. Because it's like really way more efficient, no?
Yeah, but there's no sex. There's no sex is the concept. And what's the vibe like when people first arrive? Is it one of these, when you go to somewhere new and there's lots of new people and no one knows each other and no one wants to be the first to say hello and so on? So that sort of vibe when people first arrive, or it's naturally just everyone chatters and gets on?
I think it's my role at the beginning to make people feel really welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just really pleased that people have come. Like if they're at a weekend, they literally paid money to come on this kind of weird concept with this random guy. And so I feel like the risk they've taken, I'm already really grateful that they've come and done that. The warm welcome is really important, but then within like half an hour, people are just chatting amongst themselves. And when I then try and make a group speech or something like that, by the end of the day, they're ignoring me because they're talking to themselves. So, yeah.
That's nice. That's a good indicator that it ticks the box in terms of why they came there, right?
Or Chris has bored them and they're just like, they're not listening to him anymore. I'm joking.
Chris,
I can't do long form, my TikTok videos are like 30 seconds. And so it's really pushing it.
Chris, but what's your background? Is it you worked in the hospitality industry? Like, do you have any roots that are coming to this project?
Well, I used to be an actor who didn't work very much. And then I just did a bit of directing as well. So a bit of that. And then I wanted to make a murder mystery that I started with a friend, which we did. And then we also made a board game, which you can see there, popularity.
Mm-hmm.
And out of that came hosting events, basically because we made a Y2K quiz that someone wanted us to do because they saw us doing our game or whatever. And so we started like hosting events in 2022. And then that company's called Get Social. And the whole point is that you would come to the events, and we did like dating events and just quizzes and stuff like that, called Social Quiz Club. And the whole point was that you'd come and you'd actually meet people, because when you go to a pub quiz or whatever, it's fun, but you rarely like stray outside of your table and don't really talk to anyone. And I feel like in general, I see loads of stuff now, not just in the gay world, where people are trying to create spaces where people can connect easier, because it's actually very hard for anyone. And so it's not just specific to gay world. So I hosted events and started making those as part of that. And then when I had this idea, it was like, I feel very passionate about what I'm trying to do with it, because I find it difficult to connect with other gay guys in a I think like a healthy way, basically. So I found like a mission, I guess, for what I always was wanting to do anyway.
And did it pay off, all the efforts, in terms of, for your personal reasons? Have you connected and made good friends?
Yeah, I've definitely made friends.
Yeah.
And, I've been in Madrid for a bit, and it's a way of making community. Last night, I've made a WhatsApp group finally, which I wasn't sure about, but I have made one now. And we met up and had drinks at a Mercado, and like 15 people just came to that spontaneously, which we organized the day before. And definitely made friends. Saw a flamenco show with a guy who I met before. And I think for me, it's like behaviors and patterns that I fell into. It's a way of getting out of it. And I feel like my mindset has shifted. Like, I don't flirt with people for the sake of it now as much. Well, I hope not, but not as much as I used to. And I think it was just something I did because I wanted, I don't know, validation, or I wanted them to fancy me or something like that.
Yeah.
And now I only flirt with people who I fancy, rather than just flirting with everyone, So, yeah, I think I've got a lot out of it personally. It's been a lot of work, like a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I've made friends, and it's been nice to see that I'm not alone in thinking that there's a different way of going about stuff as well as what we already have.
I have a question about maybe some sort of concepts or hypothesis that you tested and you feel that you can share with us. The question is more about the way you meet people. For example, if it's a Grindr hookup, which first starts with sex, and then you maybe ask the person's name, right? And then maybe you'll ask, like, what do you do? And maybe it will move to something further on, versus the path, which is, okay, no sex agenda first. It's a social, and then maybe something will happen after. What's the difference in terms of success, in terms of finding someone, whether it's
romance,
whether romance or a friend?
When straight guys meet, they don't have this at all, right? They just have things in common, maybe, or not. And the question of sex doesn't really arise, probably, unless they've got the secret.
Yeah.
And it's easy. Like, gay guys have stuff in common. And yet, sex can be, and often is, like the first thing. And I think if you both fancy each other, that's great, and you're both available, that works. If you both don't fancy each other, that sort of works. But if one of you fancies the other, there's always some element of rejection going on, and a dance where you have to sort of make it clear that I fancy you or not. And I think it's very freeing to be able to connect with a gay guy and literally just talk without having to have that dance of, are we going to hook up or not? And it can come later, if you then want to and you get to know them, you've even asked their name, maybe. So I think that it can reset a bit how, well, I've gone about personally relating to other gay guys, how you start, and then really wondering, I went on a date once with a guy. It wasn't a date even, he was in a relationship, but we just met. And he said at one point in the meeting that he would really like to kiss me. And I thought, I asked him, do you actually want to kiss me, or do you just want me to say that I would kiss you? And then he responded that it was the latter, which was okay. But it wasn't really about like actually fancying me. It was more the idea that I would do something with him. So I think, yeah, to answer your question, I hope.
It kind of made me think about, in digital world, it's so much easier, I guess, to connect online. It's
Mhm.
so much easier to match with someone, for example, on Grindr and have a hookup. Whereas, for example, I personally struggle to be in person, right?
Yeah.
Because you always feel like this fear of rejection, right? And I think that's where the world is now. In terms like it's so much easier to do things online and
Yeah.
say no online and approach people online, comparing to like talking to a guy in the bar or
People do
in
find
the
it weird.
event.
Like, yeah. Just going up to someone in a bar and saying hello sometimes feels like an affront, or you're invading their personal space, even though you're in a bar.
Yeah,
And it is a muscle that we have to practice. I think it's got a lot worse since COVID, since
yeah,
everyone moved online. And you just have to do it. Like, people, I think, who are in a bar, unless they're like closed up,
yeah,
want to talk to people, but it's so easy just to go on your phone.
yeah.
But isn't it amazing that like it feels really easy to have sex, literal like insertion of body parts with a randomer that feels safe, and yet saying hello to someone, how are you, feels very dangerous somehow.
But I think why we don't ask people to their name at a hookup, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes you'd rather not hear them speak, right?
Do you think maybe this is why you're single, as a man?
Because
This is why we got divorced. It was bullshit like this.
It's also because you run a podcast, you just listen to people chat all the time.
But where I'm going with this, sometimes a hookup or whatever, it's the bar or in person on Grindr date, you kind of have a fantasy of the person, right? When it's based on the looks.
I don't know what hookups you're having. They sound quite good. It's not like quite good ones.
I mean, they just don't speak by the sounds of it or get each other's names. But other than that,
Yeah, other than that, when you then start talking to the person and listen to their values, etc., you're like,
but why, if it's so good, why didn't you want to chat? Why don't you want to do it again if it's so good?
No, but I guess the pillow talk after sex, when you start talking about what do you like about stuff, and you hear the opinions, etc., like, oh my god, like if we talked before sex, probably it won't end up in sex,
You know what I feel is so clear though, is like when you come, if you want to talk with the person, like that's my judge now. If I actually want to talk to them after, I feel like that was probably a good person to have had sex with.
yeah.
And if I want them to go immediately, or I want to leave immediately, I should have just had a wank, honestly, because I'm actually just using the person. This is I think hookups are fine. I'm not against hookups.
Yeah.
If everyone wants to do it, that's great. It's not, the point of the project is not to reduce the amount of sex in the world.
Yeah.
The point is to allow people to connect in a more meaningful, those who want to, in a more meaningful way.
Yeah.
And facilitate that happening. And then I hope they have loads of sex after. And I want to go to some weddings, really. So that would be great. But it somehow takes a project. Well, not for everyone, but for the people who choose to come. It takes a project called No Sex Gay Weekend, and like with a very simple like change in attitude to help it happen. And it does.
Cool. Chris, these offline events are becoming very popular. In London, we have some fantastic projects like Tribes or Gains, and we see that they picking up very well. And I've joined some of those events myself because I love the idea. And I think you go there, yes, to try new stuff. It could be yoga, or it could be a run club, or I don't know, pottery, which is great. But back in your head, you still have like a 10% kind of hope that you'll meet someone for romance, And I guess I've kind of, from my experience, I went to some of those events, and they're like, I don't know, hike, and there are 20 people, right? And from that 1 hour or 2 hours, you kind of realize that, okay, probably not my kind of crowd, but still, you meet new people, you kind of enjoy the company. And my worry is that if I go with 20 people for not 2 hours, but for 3 days, that's a commitment, you know? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we also do events, you know? We do that's why I started doing events, so people could sort of try it a bit.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, it's a risk.
Mhm.
You know, it's not an unreasonable suggestion to commit to anything that feels long with a group of strangers. And that's why it's self-selecting. If you want to do that and you're ready to take the risk,
Yeah.
then it's available to you. But I think it's a totally legitimate thing to say.
Well, you're probably
Yeah.
going to meet like-minded people because the people initially, I mean, it's the people want to go to the same sort of event. They
Yeah.
understand the concept behind it. So
Yeah.
you've already got two things in common with them. So I guess in that case, that would be the reason to do it. And you find, Chris, a lot of it's mostly single people turning up, or you get couples as well, or groups of friends, or yeah.
Not groups of friends. Occasionally someone will bring a friend, but not really. It's mostly people who come alone, who don't know anyone. And I would say it's mostly single people, but there are people who are in relationships as well. And you know what's nice about it? Like if you're in a monogamous relationship or even an open relationship or whatever, but you can come to our events and you can meet gay guys without having that pressure as well. Because I think sometimes in a couple, like your gay life can change because there's always that element of maybe trying to get with your boyfriend. But you can come to a no-sex gay weekend.
And no
you
one's
can
going to
meet-
get
you
with
can-
your boyfriend.
Yeah. Well, they might try after. I don't know. But you know the bit, like I don't love going to gay places because what I don't like the idea of is that you've spent a whole day with someone and you fancy them, and of course it happens that people fancy each other on these events because they're actually getting to know each other and they still find each other physically attractive or whatever. You know, they're like good guys who come. They're fun people, and what I don't love is that then they would go to like a gay club and it's just out of that bubble and they see someone they've been chatting to flirting with someone else because they fancy them, like just looks wise. And I just think by the Sunday and stuff, it's been given it's like you've given other people time to get to know them, but also you've given yourself time to let people get to know you. And I think that's what people do come away with. It's a quality connection with others and maybe with themselves as well.
And it makes a real difference to. So I've recently took up going to a running club, and then they have drinks, and it's a similar sort of thing. They have drinks afterwards and so on. And it really does doing stuff where you take the sex out of it, you take the club aspect out of it, and all of that. It really changes the way you see people. And people, I mean, I certainly found people that maybe I wouldn't connect with in a bar or in a club are the exact people that I sat and chatted with for 2 hours about something I never would have talked about in the first place.
100%. And in The Velvet Rage, he writes, don't let your sexual taste be the door by which you let people into your life. And, you know, when I look at some of my gay friends in London, a good proportion of them were people I hooked up with and then became friends with. But that means that the people I'm targeting as people I might have something in common with I always had to start by fancying them. So I think you're so right. Like gay guys have a lot to offer to each other. Like we're human beings. And so I'm pleased that you've connected with people after your run.
It's nice. It's good. I really enjoy it. And do you find at the events that there's some people that still turn up and they're actually just looking for a hookup, or yeah? Because I mean, there's going to be people like there's going to be people like Azamat that turn up
undercover agents.
Yes.
I know one person. It's Chris who looks for a hookup there.
It's Chris's secret dating group.
Yeah.
Chris
solved it. I think I don't love it when people just like bring a random friend and I make sure that everyone's actually signed up on the website and actually had a look at it, because the vibe is the most important thing and everyone just comes with that intention. And if that exists, then it works really well. But I haven't really had people come and like try and hook up with people as far as I'm aware.
Chris, are you single?
Yeah.
Okay. Chris, so you live in Madrid, right? And your background is that you lived in London before.
Yeah, I still travel quite a lot between Madrid and London, but yeah, I lived in London for 10 years as well.
Do you find that there is a difference in the way gays are connecting and approaching each other at the bars in Madrid versus London?
I haven't been out in London for quite a long time.
Mhm.
I did think that it's either like party, like roast in London,
Mhm.
when everyone's on drugs. It's not conducive to a chat, maybe. Or it is maybe to a certain kind of chat.
Mhm.
Or there's like drag shows at Two Brewers.
Yeah.
And a drag show may be good or may be bad, but it's also not conducive to a chat because you got to watch the drag queen.
Yep.
And there's a lot of drag, actually. Well, there was like 2 years ago. And here there's not really much drag like that. They're like gay bars, basically. And a lot of them have dark rooms, actually. And I think that's kind of good because it means you can just go down there if that's what you want to do and it's there. And then people can just chat normally in the like main space. How is it different? I still think it's quite difficult to chat to people, but, I'm still learning Spanish. So I don't know how easy. I think that makes it more difficult to just randomly go up to people and meet people. There are lots of Latinos here, remember, in Madrid, and they are naturally much warmer,
Yeah.
I would say. And in Britain, there is maybe an attitude of being a little bit more closed
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But the Latino influence is definitely one that helps. They're just a bit more open and warm, I think.
Chris, can I ask you? So more and more, I see in-person gay events happening, and like I would say over the last 12 months, there's loads of new different types of ones setting up, and I think it's fantastic. Do you think there's a reason why now all of a sudden they're just becoming so popular?
And people go, right? I see people going. I think more is more. I think in real life is happening not just in the gay world, but everywhere. It seems to be a lot of things happening in that. And I think we really can do with more because online is so bad. It's just such a waste of time. And
By online, you mean like Grindr, etc. Yes.
even like Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that were all waste of time.
Yeah.
And just to everyone's getting neck problems from looking like this on their phone the entire time and scrolling, and this muscle hurts on your thumb,
That's too much wanking.
That's
You're
the- I
doing it.
thought that was unfair.
You're doing it wrong.
Oh, that's why.
I genuinely believe Grindr has almost created within the gay community a hookup culture that has led to a lot of people being lonely. Like Azamat said, were you having sex with all these guys in a day, Azamat, and not even asking their names? And I think
Not wanting to even.
not even wanting to ask their names.
I feel like how we treat other people is a reflection of how we're treating ourselves in the end. And if we don't even want to ask someone else's name or know it, we don't want other people. That's how we feel about ourselves, I guess. And it becomes the mode. It's like a switch. If people are objects, then you're an object as well. And you can do that. You can treat yourself like that. And maybe it's fun. But if that's the main way people go about it, and it's really hard to talk to people in bars, and there isn't another way of doing it except Hinge or dating, how on earth can you make quality connections? And it just becomes this perpetual cycle of objectifying other people and yourself and not giving other people or yourself the space to actually connect on a deeper level. So yeah, I'm pleased to see the in real life events.
And you think Grindr is the part of the cause?
It's a bit like fast food, isn't it? If it's there, then you can do it. But I feel like too, if there's like your like soul, I don't know, is a bowl of water, I really feel like casual sex just pricks a hole in it, and out comes your intention to meet people. Because post a hookup, I feel like the intention to actually connect with someone is probably the lowest it could possibly be. If I'm doing that again and again, then I'm not making the effort to, let's take a date. If I'm doing that again and again, what I'm not doing is making plans to meet someone who I actually want to get to know. And avoiding the instant gratification of just having sex with someone. And sometimes when you're dating someone, it's too early to have sex if you like actually taking it seriously, because it puts this connection that you've had, this intimacy, I guess. And coming back to something we said earlier, it's about intimacy, all of this, I think. And it's just amazing how I think other people can be like totally physically intimate with a complete stranger that you've never met. But an emotional intimacy feels very difficult. And to go up to someone in a club or a bar, say hello and be rejected somehow feels much more hurtful as a possibility than someone on Grindr saying no or not blocking you.
But I guess that's where events like yours come in, because, just sitting and chatting with someone and genuinely getting to know someone, well, that is intimacy. And I think an individual, especially somebody who maybe is feeling lonely, which, is such a big thing in places like London, they'll get so much more from that than they would for 20 hookups. And that's why I'm like obsessed with your events.
Maybe one of them would have been good, but
maybe one.
I think the habit of having hookups then just takes away from the giving yourself the chance to make a quality connection. So not everyone's going to get on with everyone, but it's for you to get to know them and for you to do it in return to let other people actually get to know you. And gay guys have so much to offer. Like everyone has so much to offer, but we have so much more to offer each other than dick and ass,
Mm-hmm.
And we just have to give each other a chance and give yourself a chance, really.
Chris, do you want a hug? I want to hug you.
Really? I'm okay for a hug. I'm feeling quite happy. I'm feeling fine.
Can I take you on a date?
Oh my God, I can't believe you know my name.
Next time in London, come over. I'll invite you for a date. I want to meet you in person. When we're discussing dating apps other than Grindr, for example, Tinder or Hinge, what I found difficult with them, they are trying to make sure that you are staying on the app as long as you can by maybe not giving you the best options, right? And I honestly do believe that, yes, coming from intention of a date first and then sex, compared to Grindr, when it's a hookup with the nearest person next to you, there are pros and cons in both.
Yeah.
But by the end of the day, Grindr is, for me, it feels more genuine as a platform, because it does show me people really who are like nearby.
Who are they hiding from you
Huh?
on Hinge? Who's this guy they're hiding from you on Hinge?
You probably.
The thing about Grindr is that the main criterion by which you're showing people is already how close they are. Like, it's the location. Is that a criterion by which you would choose a boyfriend or a friend? Literally how close they are. Maybe if you just want to go to the pub down the road. But on Hinge, in the end, everyone is anonymous until you meet them in real life, I think. Let me rephrase that. Like, they're just pictures. And how you're showing people on Hinge is a function of how you choose other people and how other people choose other people. And then the algorithm just decides who is sort of hot. And you know who is hot because they always show you the really hot person when you've just run out of likes. So it knows who to show you and who not to show you. But in the end, like, I think Hinge is good because you can send a voice note. And I think voice is much better than text. You get a sense of someone very quickly and how they are and what their vibe is.
Yeah.
And I think everyone on Hinge, I had a dating app idea. I think this exists probably now, but like no chat, like maximum 50 lines of chat, maximum. And then either meet or just like, that's it. Because what is the point of spending time chatting with a randomer without really the intention of getting to know someone? It should either peak, like springboard into a meet, or like you might as well have a pen pal.
I like that. I like that. And I think also what you said about the voice, it does make sense. Because obviously, if you hear Oliver's voice, it's so pitchy. You're like, oh my God, no, right?
Excuse me? First of all, maybe this is why you're both single. Like, who sends a voice note?
Yeah. And Chris' voice
What
is
do you
like a
mean?
proper actor, trained voice. So you're like,
Exactly.
yeah,
And I
exactly.
do accents as well. When you date me as well, because I do accents, you get all sorts.
Yeah.
Like you can have a different person every hour,
Yeah.
every minute, really.
Give us your
So
best
you're-
accent. Give us a Scottish one.
A Scottish accent, of course, I do that for you.
Oh my God. And do you sometimes just send them in an accent, or you always stick with your own?
Well, I do when I'm speaking Spanish. Sometimes a veces, porque tengo
Oh.
este acento en español, pero a veces uso este acento de Antonio Banderas.
Oh, wow. Okay. What do you think about maybe mandatory having also a video of you like saying something on the screen?
Good. I think do it. You know what? I was listening to another podcast. There's that great lady called Vanessa, and she was on Dario the CEO or something like that. And basically, the more you actually show people who you actually are, the more they can actually respond to what that is. So, what is the point on a dating app of having photos that give a sense of unreality, or at least like a vision of your life that isn't real?
Yeah.
And if you have a video, basically, if you just like give someone 15 seconds of a video just saying something that is pretty normal, they would get a sense of who you are. And then you're actually giving them a chance to react to that and choose whether they want to meet you or not. And that is such a better place to start a date, I think, because everyone's then coming in with intention and they sort of have a grip of who you are ish. So I think put a video on 100%. And then when people actually like you, they're not just liking you for your topless pictures. You know?
Why? What's wrong with your topless? Why?
I don't have topless. I don't have. No one wants to see that.
Oh, same.
I would like to see those pictures,
All
Chris.
right, guys, just want to get a room.
Chris, I have a question. What's your approach when you're in a gay bar and you like a guy? How do you come up to them? With what kind of line?
It's literally hello, for sure. I think it's about the preparation because, like, no one likes random people coming up to them uninvited.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone hates that. And
Okay.
it's just the same. So this same Vanessa lady, she was saying, like, first of all, you can't be on your phone. You have to have open body language. And what you're basically trying to do is invite them or give them the opportunity to make eye contact, not looking and staring at them because that would be really weird. And then if someone makes eye contact with me, I do this, something like that. Like, it's just a bit silly, to be honest. And then after that, I'll go up and just say hello. But if somebody has invited eye contact and has acknowledged your presence as a human being and seems to have taken that positively, after that, it's just hello and go and say hello to someone. Ask them questions about themselves.
Okay.
Show interest in the other person, I guess. If you want to get to know someone, then you have to ask them about themselves.
Chris,
and then hopefully the conversation goes. And also being ready to, like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Literally, it's fine. There's lots of people in the world. And if we can just be comfortable with the idea of being rejected, then what is the problem? It just sometimes doesn't work. And sometimes it really does. And you have a spark and you want to carry on chatting.
Chris, just going
You
back.
should do it.
You should, Azamat.
You know,
Come out with me.
you know
Come
what?
to Madrid and I can introduce you.
I just came back from Kazakhstan and I went for dinners with my friends and we were talking about dating and how you approach boys or girls. And we were literally sitting with my straight friend. And at one point at the dinner, he started looking around just at other tables where are the other girls. And I asked him, like, so what do you do next? Like, how do you, for example, there are like a bunch of tables of just friends, girls who are sitting and having a dinner. So what's your move? And he said, I always order a bottle of champagne for the table of girls. And he's a wealthy man. And those girls would find that move most of them, as very bold.
Yeah.
And you got their attention. They might not like you, and that's fine. But if they like you, you'll see in their eyes, right, that they are, oh, wow, that's a nice move. So that's how he operates. It's an interesting way to do it. But how can you translate that when you are in London, right? It's a little bit different culture. First of all, you won't order a bottle of champagne to bunch of gays in the bar. That would be like, yeah, you could, but it's just so weird. No, it's kind of, it would
It's very
be,
transactional.
yeah, it
isn't it?
just
It's
sounds.
like to get someone's attention to buy a bottle. It's quite showy. I mean, good for him.
I guess in maybe in straight world in Kazakhstan, that's wow, you're amazing. And here to be like, what's wrong with you? Why did you do that to me, right? Well, if someone sends you a bottle of champagne, you're like, that's kind of cringe, though.
Yeah.
Or it'd be an Aperol Spritz, maybe. What's not going to happen very easily, I think, is if you're out with a group of friends and you want to meet someone with your group of friends, because then you're just like a closed group and people aren't going to come up to a group of friends and do that, which is why like, interrupting a dinner with a whole bottle of champagne is quite a bold move, because otherwise how are you going to do that? But like, do you ever go out alone to bars?
I don't think so, no.
It's can be deeply uncomfortable, but is the best way to do it, I think. Like literally you're open, you don't have anyone else to talk to, you don't have to look after anyone else. And you can just go up to people. I went out and I just spoke to random people and said hello and started conversations. Some of them lasted 20 seconds and some of them lasted like an hour or something like that.
So now you're known as...
crazy Englishman that's wandering around Madrid talking to people, harassing people in bars.
You know what you can win?
Creepy Chris. That's your name now in Madrid.
That's very sweet. That's very, I see your opinion of me has already changed. It didn't take long. You wanted to date me 10 minutes ago.
No, I respect that, Chris. I admire you.
You know, like, why not go out alone? We're individuals. Why do we have to have other people with us? If we have other people with us, then we're with our friends and that's what we're doing, you know? And, you know, you're a good-looking, seem confident guy.
Oh, thank you.
And, you know, you're perfectly able in your normal life to talk to anyone, I assume. And if people go to a bar with the intention of maybe meeting, it's very clear who wants to meet other people and who doesn't. And this is where the line of being creepy or not comes in. Like, don't go up to people who don't want to talk to you. And it's very simple to know who doesn't want to talk to you because they're not looking at you. And if someone's looking at you, making eye contact and welcoming you, then maybe you can be the one to just go up and say, like, hello.
Hey, how's it going? And I guess the thing is, and I've never noticed this, is that, because you can't approach a group of people and be like, oh, hey, I'm just going to talk to your friend here. But so what? There must be other people that are going out alone looking to meet people.
I don't think it's that common, but it does happen. And I think people should do it more.
Yeah, like Creepy John, Creepy James, all of them out there.
Because you don't want to look like a loser, right? You don't want to look like you've got no friends.
True.
But if I have no friends, who am I meant to go with?
Yeah, it just feels like you wish there was some sort of like a golden rule, an easy way to do things like that, right? And I guess if again, coming back to your events, that kind of gives people platform, gives people hope, change their habits. And that's the great thing about what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, it does give people a space to meet new people. And, you know, like, I feel that incidental chats give us so much, like, confidence, which is that you're just passing by someone, like, say at work or something like that. And I feel like I moved to a foreign country for now, and it's hard to do if you don't have any network. And so I've had to push myself and go out alone and do that sort of stuff. I think when people come, they can be nervous, and lots of people say that they are pushing themselves out of their comfort zone. But then, as I said before, that within not much time at all, they're very comfortable chatting with other people. And I hope that they take that away. And actually, gay guys aren't that scary. And we've talked about loneliness and people wanting this. It's very clear who wants to hook up in the end and who wants to make connection. So if you want to hook up, you can hook up with people. But I think a lot of people want connection. And if you can be bold and be the first one to say hello, it's surprising how that muscle becomes stronger quite quickly, I think.
That was going to be my next question, because I genuinely think talking to people in a non-sexual way, where there's nothing you want out of it other than to talk to them, as a habit, if you do it, it just gets so easier. And I've just moved back to London 3 months ago from being in the back end of England. And when I got back, I was like so reluctant just to talk to people. I was like, it was such a weird thing. In the space of 3 months, because I made the conscious decision of, I'm going to go and talk to this person. I'm going to go and talk to this person. And the first time it's difficult. But I think by the 10th time, you're like, I've got this. It's a breeze.
And what's the worst that can happen? They're just going to not talk to you. They're unlikely to turn around and tell you all your deepest fears. you
Yeah.
know? And in the end, they just might not like you, and that's fine. And you might not like them. It's also you. Like you might not like them. That's
Yeah.
fine.
And now he's creepy Oliver of Balaam.
Yeah.
Chris, we'll be wrapping up. I have a few questions about this year. Maybe tell us a bit more about the events that you already planned, and maybe something about your goals, your personal goals. What are you planning to achieve in 2026?
Nice. So with No Sex Gay Weekend, we already have 2 weekends that are set up. One in March in Bristol.
Mhm.
That's actually got really good attendance already. I don't think there are that many spaces left, but check it out. And there's also the Manor, which we're taking over in Devon over Easter weekend. And that's just going to be such a hoot. We're going to have formal dinners. It's going to be like Bridgerton. I've not even seen Bridgerton, so I shouldn't use that reference. But it's just going to be a great time. And we also have events. And what I'm trying to do now is get other people to run events where they are, so that it's not about I'm not running everything, but my dream is that in any city, probably, you could go and you could quite easily make a connection with gay guys without the pressure, basically, and make that like a normal alternative to the things we have now. There's a lot of parties and there's a lot of apps, and more, as you said, there's in real life, but I would love it that you could go and we could all practice meeting each other. So that's what I'd love to. I would love Grindr to be a niche app. I would love it to be just a hookup app, and that people who want more or looking for friends don't use it, because I think that sometimes we do. When we're traveling and we use Grindr, how cool would it be? You don't have to go to a No Sex Gay Weekend event or whatever, but how cool would it be that you could go traveling to Liverpool and you could quite easily find gay guys who would want to chat with you? And that's probably what gay clubs used to be in the past, before apps, in like the 90s and 2000s. And if they want to do that and help create that, if any gay bars want to talk to me and talk about how we can start creating community in those places and stop making it like, I don't know, drag queens and shows and stuff like that. And maybe people will come more if they come and they feel welcome and they feel like other people want them there and can talk to other people, make friends, make dates, and have hookups. That's fine. That would be a real win if we could make in real life, not just weird like standalone events, but we make cities social places to be again. That'd be cool.
And what is there for you in 2026 apart from our date?
Oh, it's back on. Nice. Even though I'm creepy Chris. I really want to enjoy this year. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and it can be really easy not to enjoy things. And sometimes with the weekends and stuff, I put a lot of effort into making them like a really good weekend, like a fun, well-organized time. And I think sometimes I haven't enjoyed it so much, when really I'm also there to meet people and make connections. That's what I want. And for people to be healthy and happy.
Amazing. Good luck with that.
What would you like?
All right. Do you two just want some space? This is weird. You're chatting up my ex-husband.
Chris, we need to wrap up. I'll tell you later what I like in person. Thank you so much for joining our show. It was fantastic. You have a really meaningful purpose. I'm sure our listeners admire what you're doing, and I want them to support you, join you, follow you, and maybe join one of your events in the future.
Because they sound fantastic. They really do. Thank you for coming on, Chris.
Thank you. You can check it out at nosexgayweekend.com, or it's No Sex Gay Weekend on Instagram. You can also follow me, Chris in Madrid, on TikTok and Instagram. And I think if you want to come with an open heart and just try it out, and it might surprise you.
Brilliant.
Amazing. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.